Hi everyone, welcome to X's and O's with LeRoy Butler, and we are going to look at the Lions and Bears from Sunday. I left them out because they're not really important. They're really not prima donnas, divas, just like most of the safeties in the NFL. So I left them out. We'll deal with them another day. Mainly because we are looking at the inside of Detroit's defense.
Detroit's on defense.
We've highlighted Nick Fairley and Ndamukong. And we probably should have highlighted this guy too, because this is their rookie, Ziggy Ansah. And mainly because of where he's lined up. Explain what that is. They call that a
wide nine. It's like a nine technique. Normally a nine technique is right off the 1 foot outside the shoulder of the tackle. But these guys get about 3, maybe 4 feet outside the tackle to mainly get a better angle at the quarterback.
Right. It stresses this guy a lot.
It puts a lot of stress on that Bakhtiari because this game, by him being so wide, Tom, he got a two-way go. He can set you up outside, come underneath, or he can go over the top. And this particular play, what they did on Chicago, Chicago is trying to improve their offensive line, but in this case, I'm going to put this more on Jay Cutler than the offensive line, but Chicago should block it better. They've seen this kind of stuff before. And we used to call it a TT. And basically this tackle, to this end, Tom, he just crashes down like this, and he'll take up blockers like this. And Sue did a great job. He hit into 75, and he loops all the way around. Now, they did it on both sides. So this one is very stressful because he comes down and just crashes right here, and Nick Fairley came around. Now, here's the result of the play. You got Jay Cutler coming back, and he's holding the ball because it takes time for these stunts to run. Now, what also happened is your back needs to step up and block.
He went in.
He stepped up
here to help out on 79 and lost track of Sue.
And he probably said, you know what, I'm going to step up to make these linebackers hold spot. And we'll talk about this area later. But what happens, it caused a fumble. Sue caused a fumble when he comes around. And Fairley picks it up for a touchdown and kind of open the game up. But if you look at something, Tom, it's something I noticed on film. On the strong side in Detroit's defense, both of their linebackers are lined up on this side.
That was really odd to see.
It is very odd.
He's lined up right over the guard, and he's lined up between the tackle and the tight end.
And if you're the Packers, you're going to see that on film. You can run a stretch play or a draw play right on the weak side and get into the secondary. But again, that has to be Franklin. If that's Lacey, it's going to take too long, and it's just going to get all muddied up. But again, if you can double down with your center, once these two guys loop around, your center had to play a big part. He has to come back, Tom, and look for most dangerous.
Right, and he didn't in the Bears. Did not. He just kind of hung here.
He just kind of hung around, and when this guy came over, it just got all muddied up.
He could have come back and clipped off. There. But I think the point that you make is really good, and one is that it's going to be on Rodgers to somehow recognize when do these guys loop, when do they do that stunt, and they probably there must be some kind of tip off to him that they do that, and then he can call that drop play, right? Right,
and he can keep the tight end in, and they'll come back, a tight end will stack, and now the tight end will come over if he's available, and we'll talk about that later. But if Finley is available, you can bring him over on the weak side and go down the middle and get some big plays. Bennett caught a lot of balls for Chicago. But back to this front four. Ansah was brought in to stop Aaron Rodgers, to get pressure, okay? Nick Fairley was brought in to stop Aaron Rodgers. So was Sue. They wanted front four that they put together to be very formidable. You'll see a lot of these games like this to tie up the Green Bay Packers line. If you look at the Cincinnati game, Cincinnati had a big, strong, physical defensive line, gave the Packers problems. So if they can block them, there are opportunities down the field.
Right, and I think this will be a good cat and mouse game for Rodgers. He's going to have to be reading the coverages and read what these guys are doing, because they do leave you some opportunities with these enormous gaps.
Evan Deidre Smith, he has to be very, very on top of it. Him and Rodgers cannot mess with these coverages, and they can't mess with these fronts. They got to set them, believe in it, and got to be in tune with it. They got to go through it. If not, you can see Rodgers get sacked 5 to 6 times.
Right. Okay. And next we'll look at a Lions offensive play. Okay, so this is that play we were mentioning, and we're highlighting Reggie Bush because he's really the key guy in this play. And what you see with the Lions is kind of an unusual formation. We saw this a couple times, and they bunch these two wide receivers, I mean, right behind each other. You know, it's like they're lining up for lunch or something, you know? And we know the Packers have had trouble with bunch formations.
Yes.
The Bears played it straight up. Two corners, right, and they lined up like they were going for supper. So this wound up being kind of an interesting play. The Lions changed their strength by putting this guy in motion, and then he's there. So go ahead from there.
Yeah, I think for the offense, they'll call us what we call a stack. When the guys are stacked out here like this, Tom, all it is just for show. It's just for show. They want these guys out of the play. You got one guy on the line and bump and run, the other guys back, they're just really out of the play. So now this is what you want to try to do is isolate these linebackers and make them take them false step. When the tight end goes and Pettigrew's a big guy, big target. When he goes in motion, these linebackers take one false step over, you know, because the strength to them changes. And what happens is once they take that false step, the center comes out and gets a great block here, and you get these guys just walled off, and it's kind of what we call almost a pistol formation, but it's between a shotgun, because if you're the safeties and you see that Matthew Stafford is up a little bit, that's a draw. If he's back deeper, it's pass. They have to know that. But he was up a little bit, so you say, well, obviously it's a draw. And he came back, and Reggie Bush got this ball right in here. Now he's one-on-one with the safety, and he was out the gate. Now that's a play that the Packers can play better if they understand where the quarterback is first, and also don't take a false step based on the formation. Stay where you are and read the guards. The guards always tell you where the ball is because they get a double team here and what we call a scoop. They don't even block the defensive end. And they also have a play where they want the safeties to step up right here, Tom. He'll fake the draw, step back, and he'll hit a post right here to number 81. So if you're the safeties, you got to play it honest.
And one of the things that makes it a little different for Green Bay is this will be Perry more than likely. It could be Matthews if he plays, but more than likely it's Perry.
Or it could be Neal.
Yeah. Generally, Perry's on this side. And let's say this is either Raji or Pickett. This guy they have to stonewall this guy. You can't get scooped to the outside.
If you can, like you say, stone him or penetrate, that play is done. It's over. Now you got Reggie Bush dancing instead of hitting between the tackles. You know, and over his career, people say he didn't like to run between tackles, but doing a great job of that. He's the missing piece. That's why we put him in red. If the Packers can stop Reggie Bush and put all the onus on the quarterback, I think they have a good chance of winning.
And these are the kind of runs that really beat the Bears. They were out of their gaps. They did not handle Reggie Bush well, and we'll see if the Packers can handle him.
And they also, real quick, Tom, they also motion him out to empty. Now you got 5 wide receivers set. Now you got to cover that.
And they ran like a bubble screen to him here.
That's exactly
And that's the other option here is you have to be careful. They could run a screen with those
They could
guys,
step back and throw it to Royals, and get him one-on-one. This one block, he's out the gate. A lot of bubble screens, a lot of stuff like that.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll be back after the Detroit game. And
you can also follow me on Twitter at Leap36 and at Tom Silverstein. And, of course, it's Breast Cancer Month, so make sure you help as much as possible.
All right. See you next week.